Hi, I'm Nigel Howarth and welcome to Shed Sessions. And today we've got a great dish for you, a pheasant saltimbocca. So we're at the beginning of November, we're in lockdown, pheasant. It's pheasant time. Obviously, we didn't expect lockdown to come, so it's difficult to go out shooting now, so you've got to have got your pheasant. So let's have a look at, we've got two fantastic breasts from a female pheasant. They tend to be a little bit tenderer. And let's run through our ingredients here. We're serving them with some cordyceps. So we've got the parasitic eating mushroom for you, cordyceps, which is so Moorish. They're incredibly good. We've got some chestnuts, we've got some sourdough crumbs, and we've got some Brussels sprouts. Any of you Brussels sproutators out there? These are lovely. They're lovely little Brussels sprouts. Okay, so a saltimbocca. A saltimbocca is an escalope, so batted out breast of, or traditionally would be veal, with sage and cured ham. Okay, so without further ado, we need to get our pheasant breast, okay, and give it a bat out. We're serving this with polenta as well, so we're just going to put a little bit of polenta underneath. So a soft polenta or a wet polenta, not a fried one. I just want you to carefully okay. So that's one breast done. Okay, we'll do the other one. Okay. Right, you can get rid of said paper and see that little bit of sinew there. It's very easy to remove now, so just put your knife there and just pull that through. Okay, and the same with our other breast. It's not going to cause your teeth to drop out, but it is a little bit of fibrous sinew, so we'll take it out like so. And then I've got some beautiful sage leaves that I picked from my garden. I'm going to put 3. As you can remember, poultry and sage go so incredibly well together. They really, really do work wonderfully well with pheasant. And here I've got some spice. I call these Kentucky spices because the chicken spices, so it's very aromatic. It's a secret recipe, but you do get that in the recipe. So you'd have to subscribe for that one, wouldn't you? Okay, so pop that on there. And then before I turn them over and season the other side, I'm going to put a piece of Parma ham, or any ham, but because it's Italian, we've gone for a Parma ham. There we go. And let's pop that over like so. And if you just pop a little bit more on there to make sure it's nicely covered. And then put another slice here to go the other. You have to be, they're so thin, these, aren't they? Incredibly thin. So again, you have to be patient and just get that out and just cover that. And again, you can use a little bit of extra just to cover that side. Okay, and then I'm going to turn them over, and on this side I'm just going to use a little bit of nearly lost my seasonings. Use a little bit of salt as well as the spicy seasoning. So, and just a little bit of Maldon salt there on the top. Like so. And then in our bowl, and then just lightly flour the breasts on either side. Okay, and I've got some Panko crumb here, so I'm just going to put Panko crumb on either side, and some of it will go into the egg, but just gives a nice sort of halfway between, you know, so where it's sort of breadcrumbed, if you will, and a Saltimbocca on the other side. Right, I can see my pan's heating up now, and I've got a tray here, so I'm going to put the Saltimbocca. I'm going to do them one at once, and just try and capture that. Okay, and just try and capture that egg around the pheasant breast. Like so, and you can see, so we've got a nice coating on our Saltimbocca. You want it nice and golden, and then we're going to pop it onto the tray, and then just gently cook them in the oven. So again, the tricky bit, I suppose, is just capturing that egg, that you get enough and then into your pan. And that's where you've got to take your time and just make sure that you get your pheasant breast looking like a nice battered pheasant breast escalope, rather than something that you've had a fight with. Okay, and you can see that there is slowly cook it. If you're going to cook this for a few people, you just slowly cook it in your pan. But what we're going to do now is we're going to pop. I'm going to pop a little bit of the fat onto and over here, like so. And then they're ready to go in our oven for about 5 or 6 minutes. Let's look at our polenta now. So ingredients, we've got chicken stock going in, and I need to bring that up to the boil. So I've got a clove of garlic here, which I'm going to grate. That's gone in there. I've got 100 ml of cream. That's going to go in there. And then I'm going to pop the butter in, which is 100 grams of butter going in there. And then we're going to bring that up to the boil as quickly as we can. And we'll zoom back in a mo. You can smell the fragrance coming off that. Is wonderful. So I'm going to put a bit of nutmeg in there. What is nice in here is chopped ham as well. I know I did that for a dish a while ago, but basically chopped Parma Ham. But because we've got ham, obviously, on our escalopes here, on the Saltimboccas, we don't need ham again into the polenta. And now give that a right good mix. This is a really, really good recipe for polenta. It's so good. And then I'm going to turn that down to number 4. He says, one of the things with if you get, there you go, turn it down to number 4. take your whisk out. And let's look at our ingredients now to go with our saltimbocca. So we're going to pop the saltimboccas now into the oven for about 8 minutes. Okay, so I'm timing those now because I don't want that beeper. And here I've got my sauce. So I've got our pheasant sauce there, and then we've got the garnish. And we've got cordyceps, Brussels sprouts, chestnuts, and some sourdough crumb, and a little bit of sage. And we've got some, I saved and blanched some of the outer of the Brussels sprouts. Okay, so let's put that on. And we want to gently, really lovely and gently cook that through now. So I'm going to use a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of butter. Butter in. And we're going to put the sauce, I think we'll move that on now. And put our sauce on there to come up to the boil. Okay, so I want to warm the Brussels sprouts up first, so I can pop those in with our chestnuts. They're a great, almost think of Christmas, well, you do think of Christmas, don't you, with those. And then we're going to finish off with the cordyceps going in, which are rather delicious. And then our crumb right at the end. We need to just get the, again, there's a lovely, lovely smell coming out of there. And I'll just get a little tray because we need to put those onto there. So I don't have too much fat going into the dish. We don't want to run that into the sauce. So have a look at that sauce now coming up to the boil. Yeah, lovely. Right, okay. Let's get those cordyceps in. There we go. Fry those up and lovely, lovely. You smell the flavours again coming out of there. Just so lovely. And I was just going to break up some sage leaves in there. Making me hungry now. Oh. Okay, and then we're just going to pop the garnish into there. And keep that warm. I've just got an oven on here on 60, so we're just going to keep that in there and keep that warm. And then we're going to finish that off with the leaves and the sourdough. So I need to check my sauce now. I've got my whisk here. And then check the polenta. Oh, that's looking so lovely. Oh, and we need to, again, check the seasoning on our polenta. Oh. Need a bit of seasoning in there. How long have I got now? Oh. Okay, so sauce is ready. Polenta's ready. We just need to turn it down, and then we need to just prepare the field to plate. Okay, so we've got 2 large plates, and we're going to put a little bit of polenta in the middle, but we're going to serve the polenta on or in dishes. And Tom's going to join us in a minute. He's got a lovely wine to go with this. Let me just check, see if we're ready there. Everything's okay there. I'll just put a couple of sourdough croutons in there and some of the Brussels sprout leaves. Okay, keep them in there. And then, as we've very controlled, the saltimboccas have took 10 minutes. I mean, bear in mind, you're only setting them. They've took 10 minutes at 150. Okay, so we're going to take those out there carefully. And it's one of the most beautiful ways of cooking pheasant. I might just say that, but roast pheasant, all that, it keeps the pheasant moist. Loads of flavour. And the sage and pheasant is a marriage in heaven. It really is. Okay, let's throw that down there. No, we won't. We better get hold of it actually, because we need to get our garnish out now and get on with the dish, and let's get it finished. Okay, so on each plate we need some cordyceps, and they want to be really one of the key things. And we've got our Brussels sprouts, chestnuts, and just arrange it nicely. You can just put, if you're at home, you can just put this in the middle of the table and just put your, basically your saltimbocca on the plate, a little bit of jus or a little bit of beurre noisette, and present your vegetables separately. You know, that's entirely up to you. We're just going to do that there. A few more cordyceps there just to finish up there. And I think we're about right there. I'm going to get my hands on that. Need those chestnuts going on. Okay, 1, 2, 3 chestnuts. 1, 2, 3 chestnuts. Okay, right. Polenta. We're only going to put a small amount of polenta on the plate because most of the polenta is going to go separately. There, just underneath the breast. And let's get the saltimboccas. On we go. Whoa. So that nestles. And all the reason behind that is that all the juices then go into the polenta. Okay. And then the rest we're going to put into our bowls here. Like so. Like so. Come on, sauce. Oil. Okay. We're going to sauce up. And there you go. Put a little bit of sauce separately, just in case you want a bit more. But we've got our pheasant saltimbocca, cordyceps, sprouts, and chestnuts. And Tom, that's a challenge for you with the wine, or is
Nigel? Yeah, it's an interesting one, this. Really enjoyed putting a match together for it. So, pheasant being the main part of the dish.
Yeah.
Normally, traditionally, your brain would straight away go to Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
The classic wines of Burgundy. Some say the king of red grapes.
Yeah.
And a perfect match with game. But actually, there's a lot else going on the plate, so I wanted to try something a little bit different. So, we're close to Burgundy. Well, we're in Burgundy. We're in Beaujolais. So, rather than be made from Pinot Noir, these are the wines made from the Gamay grape. And what I'm hoping is going to work really well is we've got one of the stronger, firmer Beaujolais. So Beaujolais split into 10 different villages that produce the best wines, and we've gone for a Morgon here. So the producer's Grange Couchard. It's a Morgon, but it's also from within the best area within Morgon, Côte de Pie.
What price bracket are we talking there?
So this wine in our shop is about $24.99. So it's the premium end of Beaujolais, but it's got the age and it's got the pedigree.
That means it's got to be good. Right.
Hope so.
Okay, I'm
Hope
going to
so.
sneak, keeping my distance from you, Tom, I'm going to sneak my Saltimbocca
times.
over here.
There's a glass for you.
I'm going to get some in my mouth so I get it sort of washed around a little bit with the flavours.
So you can see from the colour, quite a light red. It should have that nice cherry flavour coming through, but then I'm hoping there's a little bit of earthiness that's going to work with your pheasant jus. Let's see.
That's an interesting one. Let's see what you think. Get some of these Cordyceps, they're delicious.
Now, I like the softness of the red. The Beaujolais does bring that soft, gentle fruit to it. The age is giving it a bit of rounding, and I quite like the sort of faded fruit. It's not in your face with fruit.
Yeah. For me, it works. It's not the perfect marriage, but it certainly works. And I love the cherryness. That I think goes with the gaminess of the pheasant. And of course, you've got the Parma Ham. The sage is such a big influence on the dish.
Yeah, I'd like to try that with the chestnuts as well.
Yeah.
So I think if we have the chestnuts and the cordyceps, because they're bringing two different bits of flavour in.
Well, anyway. Well, we could talk all night.
We can.
If you get the polenta, start to it.
I suppose the point with this was to try and think outside the box. Burgundy would have been an obvious match. Let's explore the older wines from Beaujolais, because there's some really interesting stuff there.
Because your mind goes back to Beaujolais being like a sort of, when we used to have Beaujolais and it's harsh and you drink loads of it. And it's tarnished with that in a way, Tom, isn't it?
A little bit, but it's fighting back. So gone are the days of that juicy, fruity jug wine, and we're looking at more serious wines that compare with serious food.
Well, that is an interesting choice and an interesting wine. So from Tom and I, for another shed session, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Hi, I'm Nigel Howarth. If you like what you've just seen, then subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on social media. Enjoy.